Okay, Sebastian, are we ready to start?
Yep. All set.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to... Sorry? Was that for me? Okay. Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar called 3 Critical Secrets to Accelerate Growth on SuiteCommerce and Stop Wasting Time and Money. I'm glad you could all make it. And before we start the webinar, I want to ask you to please pay attention. So silence your phone, close all your social networks and every other browser tab that is not this one, and lend us your attention for the next 40 minutes. And you will know, and you will get to know the mindset and core concepts that you need to know when facing either a website migration, website implementation, and even what should the next steps be after your site is live. So during this webinar, you will understand how to build and manage your website in a more efficient, quick, and effective way, setting focus on what's really important, increasing sales while delivering an amazing customer experience. I promise you that at the end of this webinar, you will finally understand how and why the use of a proper e-commerce template should set you for success in a faster and more efficient way at the time that you will be investing your money on a much wisely and in a more very high ROI, right? Follow this recipe and you will be able to reach your goals faster. So stick around until the end of the webinar and get ready to take your e-commerce management to the next level. I guarantee it will change the way you think about NetSuite Commerce website, and it will take it to the next level by multiplying your sales. Before we move forward, I want to introduce ourselves and the reason why you should listen to us. My name is Diego Praderi. I'm sales director at Tavano Team. I'm a passionate e-commerce consultant and have helped hundreds of e-commerce merchants to excel in their business by providing a more holistic view to their e-commerce practice and helping them understand how all the different moving parts of an e-commerce business are involved and how they need to be treated separately so they can play together. And we also have Marisa Garcia. Marisa is the design tech lead at Tavano, and she's one of the foundational members of Tavano Team when we started back in 2009. Since then, Marisa has been responsible on delivering high-performance sites on all NetSuite platforms. She started out with NetSuite Site Builder, and then she grew together with the other platforms, first with SuiteCommerceadvanced and then with SuiteCommerce. Marisa has under her belt more than 200 NetSuite Commerce Go Live. She has been the tech and design mind behind all those implementations, and she still leads the dev team, who is continuously and constantly working on the creation, development, and improvement of our proprietary themes, as well as our customers' live site, which we're helping them to experience growth and to maintain their sites and increase sales. So what we're going to present to you today is not just theory that we read in a couple of books or blog posts, it's hands-on in the business. Since Tavano exists, actually, it's been already 11 years, we have been directly and indirectly responsible for more than 1 billion in online sales, advising our customers and helping them in their e-commerce practice, from implementation to maintenance to growth. As I said, we have implemented over 200 SuiteCommerceadvanced, Site Builder, and SuiteCommerce sites, and many of those we help them grow through our strategy program and our growth services. All the information we will provide comes from years of being in the trenches, hands-on the job, facing almost every obstacle, changes in technology, in market, and every other obstacle that you can experience in this fast-paced industry. We have worked and delivered results in almost every business vertical and in the most interesting and diverse niches, from companies selling products to companies selling services, from B2B to B2C, from small businesses to enterprise companies such as Sears and GoPro, and some others we cannot disclaim their names. We've worked with the US government, and we had projects from the East Coast to the West Coast to Australia, Singapore, Vietnam, and back. And the 3 most basic discoveries we made are summarized in the following 3 secrets that we want to share with you today. So stay until the end, because what we will tell you is on the field experience and data that we recollected first as NetSuite experts, and then as e-commerce experts, the e-commerce experts that we have become today. So just to give a little bit of context, I want to briefly address an Italian economist called Wilfredo Pareto, who in 1896 introduced the famous 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. The 80-20 rule makes a simple but powerful discovery. He first found out that 80% of a nation's wealth was controlled by 20% of the population. And he studied this phenomenon more deeply, and he found that this disproportionate relationship between the cost and effect happened in many other areas of life, from real estate, for growing crops, and all sorts of things. For example, he found out that 20% of the input create 80% of the result. This means that 20% of the workers produce 80% of the work, or that 20% of the customers create 80% of the revenue, such as 20% of the roads cause 80% of the car accidents, of the crashes. Here is a little graphic representation of the 80-20 rule. And we know that this rule is true for almost any area of a business. It is also true from website design to website implementation and to e-commerce growth. So you can imagine how important it is to recognize that 20% that will be accountable for the 80% of the results. Just as a quick story, using this principle is how many years ago we started identifying what was the 20% of the project's requirements that really moved the needle, that really worked for our customers. It was the case that back then, we would receive a long list of requirements for design and functionality for a site implementation. These were big budget projects, were very fun, but also very long. But when the site went live, right, so we had the stakeholders, our clients were siloed, brainstorming how the site should look and what functionality. Maybe they didn't even go to the customers to ask for the feedback. So when they went live, they realized that the site wouldn't convert as they would expect it, right? Because they had the site that they wanted, not the site that their clients or the customers wanted or actually needed. But what happened? Now they had no budget left to iterate and to adjust the site, right? They had focused on the 80% of the input that brought the 20% of the results. Actually, the other way around, if they should have seen this Pareto principle. So then that's how we started to identify what was that 20% that was repeated through the most of the implementations and that really proved to help conversions. So we focus our energy in providing highly performing themes that will allow our customers to go live fast, very, very fast. So as they move fast with proven conversion templates, that allow us to gather as much insights, as much data information as possible. And this allows our customers to scale in a much faster and efficient way. So the commerce merchants will be able to focus on what really matters, focus on their business. And what's most important is that we freed up the budget for implementation, the budget that they had accounted for technology, and now they could spend the budget in marketing, in brand strategy, in conversions, in creative. And in this way, we were helping them grow, right? So do the 20% that brings the 80% of the results for your customers. And taking this first step in this linear approach will allow you to get exponential growth. How is it that we do that? We found that the best way to start this process, that you'll see it has different parts, because now I might be talking to any one of you that don't have a site yet, right? To start with the template. But getting this with this approach will, first of all, save you lots of money, lots of energy, and lots of time, but also it will give you very deep insights in your e-commerce website. It will give you the most important insights that you will get, and it's not about your product, it's about your customers. Remember, customers come first. And with this approach, you're going to be able to input the 20% of your efforts in the 80% that really, really matters. Just before we get to the first secret that Marisa is going to share with us, and after this introduction, I want to tell you this simple thing: if the 80-20 principle resonates in your head, wait until you see what happens when you apply the Pareto principle to the Pareto principle itself. It's called when you make it fractal. Then you need to understand that 4% of your inputs correspond to 64% of your results, and that's a hell of a way of working smarter, right? Focus on the very basic few things that bring the big results. So start fast and adapt based on data. Well, the last thing, I talked about templates, I talked about themes, but it's not any theme, right? this sign that you see here, this quote, was made by Steve Jobs, and this is this is actually the main wall of our design department, and it says design is not just what it looks like and feels like, design is how it works. This is a statement that we, as you can see, we have it very bold in our own offices. We live upon this quote. We believe in this because really good design, right? It's not about looks, it's about conversions, it's about how it works. So having said this, I want to give the presentation out to Marisa, who will start with the first secret.
So, hey everyone, thanks Diego. I will start with secret number 1, which is you will never finish a successful e-commerce website. Okay, so hold on. What is a successful e-commerce website? From our perspective, a successful e-commerce website is the one that achieves the business desired results in the most effective and efficient way. So one of the main desired results or goals of an e-commerce website is to increase revenue. To increase revenue, it's important having a website optimized for sales. And how can you measure if your site is optimized for sales? By paying attention to 3 levers that you may already know them for sure. The first one is conversion rate, which is the percentage of users who take a desired action. The other one is average order value, which is the average amount spent by customer on each online purchase. And the third one is customer lifetime value, which is the projected revenue a person may generate during his or her lifetime as a customer for your business. So by doing the correct adjustments to these levers will help grow and scale your business. And to take action over those levers, you need your user data analysis to tweak them wisely in order to get the increments you expect for each lever, increasing sales and making grow your business. So the key here is to get your users' data as fast as you can to start measuring, getting possible actions to increase levers and start making your site updates. So the best way to get your user data as fast as you can is to go with a theme. Either if you're planning to launch your first website or upgrade from an old NetSuite version or other platform technology. But as Diego mentioned, not any theme. You need a high conversion theme that is performant, functional, and with a solid base to build on top of it. So which are the benefits of a high converting theme? The first one is to be customer-centric, designed to facilitate the user needs, having repeated shoppers in mind, having focus on the different segments, which are B2C and B2B. The other one is proven design, which gives the ease to use and navigate, focus on conversion. The third one is easy to manage, giving you the ability to update the catalog, content, and offering. Other one is to be scalable, giving you the flexibility to update and customize on top of it. And last but not least, to be mobile and SEO optimized. So here in Tavano, we have created our own high conversion themes, having our main 7 B2B and B2C oriented themes. Our themes offer all these benefits and solve the common pains of launching and updating your e-commerce website, which are to avoid energy draining, high costs, and endless development time. With this new generation of themes, which is our 6th generation, actually, we we set our focus on a quick launch, having a 2 weeks implementation for site launch, saving you time, money, and energy. So we really work very hard on having in mind repeater users and shopper experience, and also the merchant needs to get the actual state of our themes. And we will keep improving them continuously. So here I'm going to show you some theme examples. One of them is Green Lane, their wholesale site. So here you can see that we have exposed some common design patterns and SuiteCommerce functions in key areas being reflected in our themes. In this case, one of it is the quick order. Since it's a wholesale site, it's key for customers having a quick access to this type of content. And the other important thing is that our themes are fully compatible with the site management tools to give you the ability to make quick and fast editing to your catalog and offering updates day by day. So we are in the continuous work of building relevant contents for you to drag and drop on different pages, in addition of the ones that NetSuite already provides. You can see that we have our own sliders, smart merchant, banners, and other kind of contents, all of them with mobile and desktop settings to optimize your contents for both devices. So your web design and development is an iterative process because all of the features to grow your business respond directly to your customer needs in relation with the business goals. If you're starting your e-commerce, it's key starting with a solid, high conversion theme in order to be able to launch fast and listen to your audience. And if you are already in the business, it's time to get the inputs from your users, analysis, and start updating your website accordingly. So let's go now to secret number 2. With what is your personal taste and preferences shouldn't dictate your website. User come first. The user data analysis will be the most relevant agent of change in your site, triggering from content updates to the inclusion of new features. Before you make updates or changes to your site, you must check that they will work good with your current set of data and not what you think or your personal preferences. Your site needs to be functional and performant for your customers. Again, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. So once your site is running and generating sales, you will need to make adjustments and include customizations based on your shopper behavior. Here's where you are going to use all the data analysis we talked about before. If you're running your site with a high conversion theme, you will have a solid foundation on which to build your customizations. Our themes are designed to cover UX expectations based in an extensive UX research. And Tavano Themes also contemplates conversion optimization, giving you a strong base to start converting from day one. So let's talk about customizations. When your data gives you enough information, it's time to mold your website to the needs and expectations of your customers. So for example, one common addition to e-commerce website now is accessibility. Here you can see it in Jordan. That is a fully automated web accessibility solution. Other example also in Jordan is Cilindo's product customizer integration. So you can see that all customization in this case and in all cases should be decided upon customer insights. So please don't take customizations as a bad word, because there is no built-in solution perfect for your business. You will always need to perform customizations, prioritizing your customer needs, taken from the user research and data analysis I talked before. So it's important to listen to the data, but don't forget about best practice. Your site should respond to established structures and page standards also. What takes me to the UX Jacobs law. So which is a UX principle described by Jacob Nielsen that recommends the use of familiar patterns in design in order to facilitate user experience, because users prefer it when a site works in the same way as all the other sites they already know. By the use of familiar design patterns, you can simplify the learning process for users and increase their purchase conversions. So creating a design and flows that are too new or fancy can actually dissuade users from staying on your site and making purchase. Your site needs to simplify your buyer journey. Your theme needs to remove all the possible frictions. So if you go too different from the e-commerce standards, your user will feel uncomfortable. It's important to provide an easy to navigate and convert experience. For example, nobody displays the hamburger menu on the bottom right corner. This forces clients to think more than they should to navigate your site. Even if you think of having the hamburger menu at the bottom right corner, it wouldn't be effective at all because users expect it to be at the top. It doesn't matter if you think it makes better sense, and even if you have a logical argument for it, it's not about being right, it's about intuition and how user feels. If you look closely, you will see that themes respond to layout structures, and there are common sections between sites. The challenge for you is to define the proper contents to them based on good-looking images and applying your brand fonts and colors based always on the data we talked before. So users now look for interactive websites. They want dynamic shopping experience, and for it, obviously, good UX and UI design is crucial for e-commerce growth, but it's not enough. You need users to engage with your site. So taking this into consideration, our latest addition to our themes was to incorporate effects, micro-interactions, and animations to improve shopper experience, taking our themes to a new level. So bottom line, if you want to accelerate growth, any improvements, changes, or customization you make to your website must be thinking of user first. You need to understand them and try to be one step ahead of what they want. This will improve their experience significantly, and they will increasingly comfortable using your website and shopping repeatedly. If we got an enjoyable, easy to use website that looks beautiful and predicts the kind of service the visitor might want, you are in the right path. But remember, this process never stops.
Thank you, Marisa. So I'm gonna continue with the secret number 3. And secret number 3 is that there's no long-term success without strategy. So now you have a site, you started paying attention and learning about your users' behavior, you're taking action into tweaking your site and maybe even tweaking your campaigns. But in order to achieve scalable growth and massive success, you need to set goals and aim at them with laser focus. We're all seeing it happen right now, how COVID-19 has exponentially accelerated digital transformation in business, especially in e-commerce, where competition is fierce. So we now need to make focus on the strategy, how we're gonna grow and how we're gonna beat our competitors and how we're gonna grow year over year as well. So I read this quote a couple of years ago, and it made a lot of sense to me, and I thought it was a good way to start this third secret of a strategy. And this is a quote from T. Boone Pickens, CEO of BP Capital, and it says, "A fool with a plan can outsmart a genius without a plan any day." And that's what strategy is about. So we all need a plan. In order to go somewhere, we need to first know where we want to go, and then planning how we're going to get there. So you need a goal to aim to. And this goal must be smart. Smart means that it must be specific, it must be measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. That goal will allow you to plan the strategy to get there. And the roadmap will describe the specific tactics that we need to be executing. I know you know this already, right? And you might be thinking, okay, that's not secret at all. But the secret I'm about to share is what we have found that works incredible for e-commerce business. So bear with me. I know it's easy to talk about strategy and goals and tactics and planning, but it's not that easy to do, right? It's not that easy to put everything together. And the two most critical parts to be able to execute a successful strategy, the two main, I would say, conditions that would determine if the strategy even happens, is to have a step-by-step framework, and not just the framework, but also the people that we need to execute it. Okay, maybe it's like you might be thinking, better, it's easier said than done, right? But let me explain the growth framework that we found and that we tweaked and adjusted to make it a perfect fit for e-commerce businesses. We like to say that we have Tavanized an existing framework that makes lots of sense. And this, it's called the North Star metric. North Star metric, you can Google this and you will find lots of information. It was first coined by Sean Ellis, one of the most prominent growth hackers out there. And this growth framework, the North Star metric, started out as a software as a service company's framework, growth framework, right? A SaaS framework. But it has been adapted to many different industries in their own ways. So Burger King is using it in a way, Netflix in another way, Facebook, Airbnb, Spotify as well. So what is this framework about? I'll explain step by step. So the first part of this framework is to understand with the customer what is the mid-term business goals, or what is the mid-term business results that they're looking for, where you want to be in the next 6 to 12 months, right? If you look 6 to 12 months back, what had need to happen in order for you to call it a success or to understand that you're winning? Okay, how we uncover this, we have a specific process with questions, surveys, and really digging deep inside your company, right? It's not just about the e-commerce channel. It actually embarks more of a 360 view of your company. And this we would make it in 4 to 6 sessions to understand what that goal is, right? And we're gonna help you figure out that midterm goal. It's very rewarding when we see that our clients actually start knowing their company in a much deeper level, when they start having these conversations and start understanding where is it that they want to be. So once we set that midterm goal, we start doing a reverse engineer process. And the first thing that we establish after the goal is the North Star metric, right? And this North Star metric needs to impact directly to the midterm goal, right? And it has a couple of characteristics that we need to attend for this metric. First of all, as we understand that every successful company is a customer-centric company, we need to understand that this metric needs to express value to the customer. It needs to represent the vision and the strategy of the company. It needs to be a leading indicator. It doesn't have to be a vanity metric. For example, we're not going to use a metric that talks about how many likes we have in social media. It needs to be actionable, and it needs to be easily understood by the whole company. Everyone that's involved needs to have a very clear grasp of what this North Star metric is. And it needs to be quantifiable, because we're going to measure everything. Then, once we establish the North Star metric, we're going to go one step more in a reverse engineer process, and we're going to understand the input metrics, right? Those are actionable metrics, immediately actionable metrics that are gonna impact the North Star metric, which will lead us to the specific midterm goal. But this is not where it ends. Now we need to execute this. Now we need to understand, okay, what is it that we're going to do that will impact the input metrics that will move the Northern metric to help us achieve our goals. And that's where the work comes. It's important to understand the strategy. By definition, it's something that you need to plan, and it kind of remains unchanged, right, until you achieve the goals. What changes, and what it's an iteration process, and what it's about experimenting and testing and adjusting, are the works or the tactics, right? And these are how the tactics would work. When we understand the tactics will impact these different areas of your e-commerce business. First of all, we're gonna have tactics and input metrics that affect site optimization. We're gonna understand what are our opportunities for conversion rate optimization. What is it that we need to start A/B testing? What are the opportunities for increasing UX design and UX experience? Then we're gonna go to traffic. How are we acquiring our customers? How are we acquiring traffic? We're gonna dig deeper in tactics for Google Ads, for Facebook ads, email marketing, any PPC, SEO, and then development. What are the features that our customers are raving for, right? What is it that they need? What can we do in our site that would make their lives easier? Maybe it's enhancing features, adding features, creating landing pages, creating funnels, different funnels, or different tools, third parties that we need to integrate. Then we have another area that's about the creative and the content. We all know, I'm not gonna stress this out, about how important inbound marketing is in today's e-commerce scenario, right? But we need to start creating copyright. We need to start creating videos, design, persona development. We need to start nurturing our design and our e-commerce assets with this kind of content and creative. And then, of course, we have the ERP. Okay, we're talking about SuiteCommerce, SuiteCommerce Advanced. The main, the big value proposition of NetSuite is the single source of truth. We need to understand that SuiteCommerce or NetSuite e-commerce, it's integrated seamlessly in NetSuite. So every internal efficiency that we can enhance using the ERP is going to add a lot of value to your company and to your overall business. So we're going to have maybe custom reporting, changes in logistics, on order management. We're going to start applying and identifying places where we can implement best practices. So this is kind of how the process looks like. We first start with strategy. Then once we set the goals and the North Star metric, we start researching, right? How to impact that that strategy, how to get to those goals. And then we start tracing a roadmap. And after that, after we have everything planned out, everything very clear to all the people, the stakeholders involved, we need to start executing. And this needs to be very violent. We need to execute violently, very fast. We need to start gathering insights and information as fast as we can and iterate as fast as we can to achieve success faster, like the saying, right? Fail fast, succeed faster. And then it's a continuous improvement process that we're gonna have. That was how the framework works, right? And now, as I said before, the other critical part is execution, the team, who's gonna take it forward, who's gonna make it happen. And we put together a specific structure of our growth team. And the growth team is led by the growth lead. The growth lead, it's a person that it's very savvy in general marketing, digital marketing, and this person will oversee the whole process and will take the communication with the customer back and forward with our different experts. And you can see we do not believe that this kind of process can be done by one or two good marketers. We need specialists in each area, right? We need to make it a la carte in a way for accelerating growth, right? No one is an expert in everything. So we have actually gotten into our team the best of the best. So we have the UX department, the best UX researchers that work with us. Then we have a data analyst, conversion rate optimization that actually works very close together with UX, and then digital marketers that we have PPC, SEO, email campaigns, and any other initiatives that could fall under the digital marketing. After we understand those areas, we understand the tactics that we're gonna impact through these different experts, we have the development phase, right? What features the site needs to add? What features need to be enhanced? What changes and adjustments we need to do in the site? And last but not least, we need to start enhancing the ERP, right? We need to start getting deeper into the ERP and how we can tweak, how we can, like I said before, enhance the internal efficiencies for our customers. So that's how the framework and the execution team works on the secret about the strategy. But we're going to have a bonus secret here. And this bonus secret is that the human brain hasn't changed in the last 10,000 years. And why am I saying this? Because it's very important that you focus on human psychology. Conversions are driven by human psychology, and it has a very, very deep impact on how we work, how we use our microcopy, how we use our user experience, right? We buy based on emotions. Then after we decided that we're going to buy something, we're going to rationalize it and we're going to look for excuses. But our decision happens in our reptilian brain, right? And we need to talk to that reptilian brain, right? The new brain, the neocortex, it's where all math happens, when all, logic happens. But then the reptilian brain is where emotions, where instinct happens. And when it is said that more than 90% of our decisions happen already in the reptilian brain. This is very important, how we focus on emotions. When you focus, we never focus on products, focus on the emotions of the solutions that those products that you sell drive to your customers, to your target audience. And last but not least, I wanted to share this book here. It's called Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug. This is a classic. I think it's literally the UX Bible. And what this book says, Steve Krug says that if you put intellectual charging in your customers, you're going to start putting obstacles. Don't make them think. That's how you determine if a site is intuitive, if the action is, the conversion is intuitive, and how you reach them. We need to streamline as much as we can, and we need to make it as intuitive and as simple as possible. Tell the customers what to do next. Tell the customers what should they expect when they perform a specific action. I want to, before we leave, I want to recommend, if you can get this book and if you can start, it's a very entertaining read. Do it, because it's going to change the way that you see your own site, and also how you're going to be navigating in the internet or shopping online. You're going to understand what things work and what doesn't, and it's going to be very, very valuable for your e-commerce business. So that's all for today. Thank you very much. We're going to have a couple of minutes for Q&A now. If you have any doubts, if you have any comments, if you liked the webinar, if you didn't, you can write to Praderi at Tavano Team or Marisa at tavanoteam.com. You can directly call us at 201-957-1587. And if you want to see, there was this webinar was a lot about the themes. If you want to take a look at our themes, that's a URL that you can enter, tavanoteam.com/suitecommerce-themes/themes. So thank you very much, and we are open for Q&A moment right now. Any questions? Okay. You can, if you have any question or any comment, you can click the Q&A button in your Zoom window. SEA or SEA Advanced. Okay, so it's literally what we're talking about is it's either or, right? SEA or SC. Actually, it's called SuiteCommerce or SuiteCommerce Advanced. What we just showed you works well for SuiteCommerce Advanced or for SuiteCommerce. The main differences between SuiteCommerce Advanced and SuiteCommerce It's the access to the core code, right? And what kind of customizations you can perform on the different platforms. I have a question. What would you do with your 4% time to increase an e-commerce conversion rate? What part of the funnel will you target to improve? I'm going to read that again. Hi, I have a question. What would you do with your 4% of time to increase an e-commerce conversion rate? What part of the funnel would you target to improve? Generally, we focus, when we're talking about funnels, we generally focus first in the checkout funnel, right? But also we look into analytics to understand what funnels are performing best and what funnels are not performing that best, and we start to analyze, for example, bounce rate or time on site, or the depth that they got to the site. So in order to determine your 20% or your 4%, you need to know your numbers. You need to get into the analytics and get your hands dirty. It requires work to understand the 4%, but once you do that, you're gonna be thriving. Or these themes to click and install require some modifications. Are these themes click and install or require some modifications or engagement with developers? So the standard implementation requires the involvement of a SuiteCommerce web developer. What's a good news, and actually we didn't mention it here, that the standard implementation of our themes, it's just 2 weeks. I remember back in the day when it would take like months to implement a SuiteCommerce Advanced website. Now we can get you up and running in just 2 weeks. The SuiteCommerce themes, are they your designs? Yes, actually those are our own designs, and like Marisa was saying, we're already in the 6th generation of the designs. We keep research and development. Marisa is the leading mind behind those. So if you like them, it's all thanks to Marisa. Do you guys offer analytics class or FAQ top metrics look for understanding how to understand them? Yes, definitely, Kenneth. So that's part of the growth club. That's part of the strategy sessions, right? And how we tackle those strategy sessions are in 2 different ways. The first part is that we help you understand those metrics, right? And to understand that North Star metric. When we understand the tactics, that's up to you. We always say, if you have your own people to perform, to execute those tactics, feel free. But if you engage with us in this strategy session, the delivery is that you're gonna have, okay, this is the recommendation of the tactics based on the input metrics, the North Star metrics, and the medium-term goal. How NetSuite stands ahead of Shopify Magento? Very good question. So NetSuite has something that you cannot compete with, that is the single source of truth, okay? So NetSuite, it started first as an ERP, and eCommerce followed as a module, right? But what it's important to understand is that you do not connect NetSuite side with NetSuite. It lives within NetSuite, right? It's a seamless integration. You don't need a connector. So everything that happens in the backend, you can show in the front end. So this is very valuable because you know that the data that you're having in NetSuite is the real data, that you don't have any mishaps with the connector. You know that you have everything in one database. You know that you don't need to maintain different platforms like Shopify, a connector, or NetSuite. So I think that's the value proposition. And also you have different characteristics of each platform, right? Like Marisa said, there's not a perfect e-commerce platform. It really needs to fit your own specific needs. But like I always say, if you have NetSuite as a ERP, having the SuiteCommerce or SuiteCommerce Advanced makes a lot of sense, right? You're not duplicating efforts, and sometimes, yes, we need to be honest in this and saying that the curve of understanding NetSuite sometimes for some people is a little bit steeper than Shopify. That has a very good intuitive experience of how to manage the site, but it's just a steeper learning curve that once you are past, it's all downhill from there. From one world customers, do you have the capability of running multiple websites? If this is talking about microsites, multiple websites within one license, we need to analyze case by case for one world customers. It really depends on subsidiaries, how many subsidiaries do you have, etc. How do you prepare clients for the rapid 2 rollout? So maybe this is how we prepare the clients for the 2-week rollout. First of all, what you need to have is, of course, you need to have NetSuite already, the SuiteCommerce or SuiteCommerce Advanced module already provisioned. You need to have the payment methods and the shipping methods already created that you do with your ERP implementation. And we can start working as soon as you have the license of SuiteCommerce provision, but we cannot go live until you have all your items, categories, and facets created. One thing that's very important to mention is that I think that the reason for Tavano's success in all of this is the detailed processes that we have. We like to call it a hand-holding process. We understand that as important as the implementation, the technology implementation, is the human aspect, right? Because there's people behind all this implementation. There's people we're trying to help in business. So it wouldn't make sense if we just install the themes and move away from it. We need you to understand what's going on your side. We need you to understand what is it that we're doing, because our main objective is to empower you as the merchants to manage your site as better as you can. Of course, we're gonna be holding you back in anything that you need, but it's very important for you to understand, because no one's gonna know your business better than you. We're here to help and to amplify that, but it's your business. What do we need to have? Weeks to do. Give me just a second here. Yes, Neil. For an item level, you would need to have, for instance, the item description, the names, the different sizes, whether you need to have matrix items or not. It really depends on the products that you're selling, and it really depends on your business and your business models. But definitely, it's a longer conversation, and it will depend on your very specific needs. But definitely, please contact us, and we can walk you through what is needed for you. What's the typical cost for site to go live, up and running with a predefined theme? That really depends on what are the costs, if needed, to be on top of that, right? So the implementation, the standard implementation for up and running, it is the case that it will depend if there's an SEO migration need, if there's any customization or any functionality that we need to turn on or off. But upon that, I would prefer to go and to understand what are the needs, and for there to provide a quote. But it's literally a fraction of a cost as it was previously. Any further questions? Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. It's been a pleasure. I hope this has served you good and has provided value for you and your business. Please contact us, anything that you need. We're more than happy to answer any questions about e-commerce, about NetSuite. We love what you do. So when people actually ask us and we can be of help and of value for anyone, you don't need to be a customer. We're more than happy to provide help and help you out in this journey, whether you're evaluating NetSuite or whether you're evaluating whatever e-commerce platform or SuiteCommerce. In whatever stage you are, please contact us and we will help you out. Thank you very much.